host, financial whiz Susie Orman, tackles challenges we face creating savings.
I don't know what that is. Savings?
Yeah. I can barely say it. Creating savings.
What does that mean? Is that the money you haven't spent yet?
Yes.
Because I don't understand how that works. Apparently, it says an alarming amount of households can't afford unexpected expenses of $500 or $1,000.
Yeah.
And for me, like that unexpected expense, rent.
Yes.
That gets me every month.
Every month.
Like it is like a truck. You know what I mean? Like just running through my life.
You know how you call your phone provider and you're like, hey, let's have a talk.
And they're like, not on this phone because you owe money.
Right.
They're very not understanding about it. Yeah, and I think, even trying to save, every time I try to save money, I end up, something happens.
Yes, there's always.
And so I have a really hard time with what is savings and what is something happens.
Right. Well, you know what? My husband and I are better at like putting aside money that we will need in the future.
Don't try to make that sound. That sounds like some financially.
Right.
Some financial.
But here's the thing. But what happens is that we end up having to use it.
But tell them how you put it aside.
Okay, we have this thing called the checkbox.
This is so old and country, I can't even tell you.
We have a checkbox. So what we do is that we don't even put it in the bank. We hold on to checks. And then as we need it, we put the money into the bank.
She won't even go to a bank that isn't the branch they normally go to, even if it's the same bank.
No, that's devilment.
She won't do the online banking.
Oh, no. Take a picture of my check. I know where that picture going. I like to take my check over to Sharon at the teller. She the teller I like, and I give her the check, and she puts it into my account.
I don't understand that because I keep trying to tell her it's not like when you bring your money to the bank, they get Pinkertons to drive it to the next bank. I mean, it's not like there's a shoebox with your individual money in it. It's electronic.
You do you, I do the checkbox.
It's so crazy.
All right.
All right. In general, though, we are all too trusting on the internet these days.
Yes.
Between paying bills and putting all of our personal information out there, we're too spread out.
Yeah.
So here to help us be more careful is private detective Nancy Swaim. Hi, Nancy. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. Oh, Nancy, number one, all my stuff is all over the place. It's just spread out.
Yeah.
What do I do? Because I know my information is just thrown to the wind.
Uh-oh.
It is, Nancy, it is.
Uh-oh.
Well, one of the things you need to do is you need to not put so much information about yourself online, period.
Okay.
Check, first place to start.
Yes.
Social media. When you sign up for social media, half of the information that you're putting on there, you're not required to put on there. Privacy settings, read those privacy settings. Go into all of those
very
little,
long, Nancy.
Go into those little boring boxes and get it all set up. The thing is, if you start off holding your information back, then and taking the time to do that, then you're going to save in the long run of having to, first of all, clean up any messes, go through any kind of a fraud situation, have someone steal your identity, do any of that. And there are a couple of ways that you can, there are a couple of actual things you can do to ensure that.
But people like me, Nancy, the horse is out the barn, okay? It's out the barn.
Well, then you have to change your name and your fingerprints and go get it.
Take your death. Take your death. I think that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
No, it's not that. You can start any time. You can go in and change those settings any time. Just for one thing, there's just some very, very simple things you can do. Like the apps that you've got on your phone, don't have them on there all the time. If you need to use an app, put it on, use it, take it off.
Really? Why, Nancy? Because
that would save down on me going through pages and pages to find the app.
Your phone is much more vulnerable. First of all, think about what you really, really need for an app to be on your phone. And just use it at a minimum. But if there's some things, like some of the things are kind of like one-use things. And if you need to use it like to make international phone calls or something like that, because some apps are like that, put it on, use it, take it off. You've just cut down the vulnerability of your phone tremendously.
Because right now you can, like our most popular, social media app, every app wants to be funneled through that. They
Yes.
go, do you want me to connect to this app?
No.
And I always do.
You do?
I always do.
I always say no.
Don't do
I
it.
never say no.
She said no. She said no.
Let me, if I could just back up a little bit to the beginning of the discussion, which is the fact that you said you've got everything out there.
Yeah.
One of the things about us as women, and this is still true, unfortunately, it's changing, and I hope for my granddaughters I'm going to teach them better, but we're still too accustomed to basically telling people anything they want to know about us.
Yes.
And we're still too trusting. We also feel like we have an obligation to do things, but you know what? We can change that dynamic.
Yes.
And you can turn it
Change the
around and
dynamic.
pull it back, and you can control your privacy, control your identity. Another thing you can do when you do go fill something out, say for instance, I mean, if it's something like your taxes or your passport, or if it's, you know, TSA at the airport, definitely give them your correct birth date.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
However, if you think about all the times that we're asked for our birth date,
Yes.
or our mother's maiden name,
Yeah.
or our social security number. First of all, the thing about mother's maiden name, what's that about?
Yeah. What is that about, Nancy?
Yeah.
I know a lot
Some
of women who
sexism.
would never think of using another name now or taking someone else's name. It's an option, it's a choice, but at the same time, it's a relic from times
Yes.
past. They just need a piece of information to identify you.
Yes.
But the thing is, they don't have to, it doesn't have to be your mother's maiden name or anything like that. I mean, the whole mother's maiden name thing has just got to go. But
Thank
Yeah.
you.
anyway, so, but they don't have to, but they do need something to be able to identify you. And I'm not talking about the IRS and the
Right.
legitimate
Those are
Social
official
Security,
things.
Right.
you know, all that stuff, Medicare, whatever.
I use her birthday.
Well, see, there you go. So, but she lets it.
Well, it's out there.
No, I think she's teasing.
No, I'm not.
She loves you more than that.
I use her birthday. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
use it if I need to go out and fill something out. Say I'm taking on some kind of a music service,
Right.
which I like to have. iPad,
Yeah.
listen, Aretha, yay,
Yes.
all day. You don't have to put your real birth date.
You know what? That never occurred to me.
It's so funny to me.
It's never occurred to me not to put and tell everybody everything about me. Oh, let me say, you know, and I like broccoli, and I'm left-handed.
I use your birthday.
The thing is, you
I
can
use-
put anything that you want to, as long as you know what it is.
Right.
And they know what it is, because what it does is it goes into their database, and then for them to be able to know that you are that customer, then the information needs to match.
Right.
But it doesn't have to be
The real information.
It doesn't have to be the real information.
She gets freaked out by my codes because that's what I do. They make sense to me, but they wouldn't make sense to anybody else.
My mother has gone by all different kinds of names at this point. Rest in peace. But I do it with honor to her, because why not call her McGillicuddy, like
Right.
like Lucy's name?
Live a little
Right.
bit. Live a bit. Thank you so much, Nancy Swain. Thank you so much. That was also helpful.
Yes.
And the thing is, too, there's password manager software. If
Yes.
you don't want to write it all down and you don't want to have to keep track of it all, there are many different kinds of, and just make sure you're getting a legitimate password manager software.
That's right.
Legitimate. I'm going, Nancy, I'm going
Just
legit.
use Francis's information.
Yes.
It's a lot easier.
Meet Time with Frangela.